Welcome everyone. This is Key947. Camera's not straight like always. There we go. Good start to it. But anyways, this is Key947 aka Wolfkeen, and welcome to a Wolf's Word special. Now, 10 reviews are in the bag. I've done 10 games and I've reviewed 10 of them. I've done more, but I haven't gotten a chance to review them yet. So, and my camera still isn't straight. See, this is why I wish I had a tripod. Yep, not straight. Fuck. What a start, huh? Me adjusting my camera. Well, anyways, maybe I should just move it over here. Would that make things easier? Yes, it would. Okay, 10 reviews are in the bag, so I decided it's time for me to talk about my top 5 and my bottom 5 of the 10 reviews I've done. Now, let me give a quick warning to everybody. This is not only based on the scoring system I've given it, this is also based on the amount of fun I've had with the game, the time it took me to beat the game, and other variables like that. So, with that in mind, let's get this started with my number 5 pick of my top 5 games that I've reviewed. Now, the number 5 pick is a game that I reviewed. That was the first game I played on this channel. That game is Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception. I had a lot of fun with Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception. It was a great game, great music, great story, but it felt like we were here once before. We knew what was going to happen at some point, and there really wasn't a lot of things in the game that were brand new. One of the main reasons I loved it was because the music was great, the gameplay was great, and the main villain, Catherine Marlowe, was probably one of my favorite villains of all time, which is why Uncharted 3 saves itself from the bottom 5. Now, to begin my bottom 5 list, let's talk about a shooter. Yes, I'm talking about a shooter. Now, this shooter I had a few issues with. I didn't really like it because it felt like it tried to throw things in there which were completely unnecessary. I'm talking about Battlefield 3. Battlefield 3 reaches my bottom 5 because it had a bad story. The co-op was completely unfair at times. The only thing that was good on Battlefield 3 was the multiplayer. But let's face it, that's the only thing they wanted it to be. If they wanted it to be a multiplayer experience, they should have stuck with it instead of trying to be like Call of Duty. Which, if you realize, they were trying to copy Call of Duty because it had aspects from Black Ops and Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So, Battlefield 3 makes it to number 5 on my list. A number 4 good game that I've played that I had a lot of fun with. It's hard because I'm looking at these games right now and I'm trying to decide which ones would be in my bottom 5 and which ones would be in my top 5. Definitely in my number 4 pick would definitely be Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots. I honestly had a lot of fun with this game. Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots was probably one of my favorite MGS games. Besides 2. I had a lot of fun with 2 a little bit, but Snake Eater was my favorite. But, it was a great send-off to the Metal Gear series. It's too bad I didn't get to play the online, but I can't penalize it for not being able to check it out. So, Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots makes it into my 4th spot. Now, my number 4 worst game of all time has to go to a series which I used to be a big fan of, but I just can't get into it anymore. I'm talking about Sonic Generations. Sonic Generations was a great game. It had a great concept. The only issue I had with it was that it was all reductions. They were all just like redone music, but remixed in certain ways. And let's face it, it was basically a fan game. It wasn't really like a great game. It's a right turn in the right direction for Sega, but with half the games that Sega is releasing now, I'm afraid I just can't give too much praise to Sonic Generations. Number 3 on the list of my favorite games of all time has to go to a survival horror game, which I had a lot of fun with. I'm talking about Silent Hill Downpour. Now, Silent Hill Downpour I had a lot of fun with. It was a great game. It was a lot of fun. I beat it in about 10 hours, which is a little bit of an issue, but there are 5 endings in the game. So you can play through that game 5 times. If it takes 10 hours to go through it 5 times, without the side missions, if you do the side missions, that's about 15 hours. You're getting about an 80-hour game for all 5 endings. So, hey, you can't go against that. So that's number 3. What is number 3 on my worst games list? Well, unfortunately, I knew I was going to hit this rock sooner or later, so let's just do it now. I'm talking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is pretty dumb. The story is okay, and the co-op, it lasts a while. The only issue I have is the multiplayer. It's been redone so many times that it's not even funny anymore. I can understand Modern Warfare 1, maybe Modern Warfare 2, because they did try to do some things that were different, but in Modern Warfare 3, they used basically everything that was the same in Modern Warfare 2. Graphics, map styles, weapons, weapon styles, everything was the same from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, just brought over to 3. And then they try to say, oh, it's a new game, buy us! That's what they basically were like. Now we're getting into the good stuff. My top 2. Now, my number 2 pick for my favorite game of all time has to go to the one I just reviewed not too long ago, and I just beat. Demon's Souls. Demon's Souls, if you want to be, literal. But anyways, Demon's Souls was probably one of my favorite games because it was difficult, but it was fun. It had some crazy PvP action. Like, I gotta admit, I never felt like the pulse-pounding action of, if I make a mistake against this player, I'm gonna die, like in any other game before. I felt like that was great. That right there sealed the deal for me with Demon's Souls. Now let's get into number 2 on my worst picks of all time. Now, it's time for me to get into the ugly. If one of my survival horrors made it to the list, that means another has to make it to this list. Unfortunately, that goes to Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, I had some fun with, but let's face it, unless you have friends online, it's a boring game. The only way it saves itself was the multiplayer. But because of the fact that the multiplayer doesn't have a lot of modes or a lot of customization or anything like that, there's not a lot to get into in the multiplayer. And what are you unlocking anyways? Just more guns. It's not like you're unlocking attachments to personalize yourself or anything like that, because 9 times out of 10, everybody's going to go with the Ravager, which is the most powerful gun in the game. And don't lie, you freaking hypocrites. If it's not called the Ravager, it's that other gun that has equal stats that you can just gun down your opponent's mech quickly. Personally, I use the Cowboy Shotgun. So, fuck you all. Now, it's time. The number 1 game of my top reviews. This game I had plenty and plenty of fun with. I'm still playing it now. It's still getting patches. I'm still waiting eagerly for the DLCs. I'm talking about Skyrim. Skyrim was probably one of the best games I played of all time. I had so much fun with the game. It was one of the best games I played of all time, and it is right now my favorite PS3 game of all time. Fallout New Vegas was there, but now it got sucker punched into the water, or as they do it in Skyrim, the freaking courier from Fallout New Vegas got Fusro Dodd out of my favorite, and now Skyrim's there. Now it's time for the ugly. From the great, we go to the worst. From the best, we go to the terrible. From the nice looking Porsche, we go to the crappy grandma's car. No offense. And from the old 360 and PS3 to the new 3... What the fuck? That was a weird analogy. Anyways, let's stop digressing. Mafia 2. Mafia 2 was probably a terrible game in my honest opinion. It was a series that should have remained dead. The combat in that game was a little improved, but it wasn't vastly improved. The shooting system, terrible. The driving system, terrible. The story isn't even that good. It's predictable. The mission system isn't even that good. There's no free roaming. Even the ending is a freaking cock slap. I hated Mafia 2. I thought I was going to have fun with the game, and I thought this would be Mafia's redemption, but in all, Mafia 2 was the worst game I ever played and reviewed. So there you go, guys. Those are my top 5 and my bottom 5 games of all time. Stay tuned, because once I do my next 10 reviews, I will be doing another bottom 5 and top 5 of those 10 reviews. So, until we meet again, everybody, this has been Keen947, aka Wolfkeen, with my top and bottom 5 of all time. I will see you all later. See ya.